and to step up. And we're just going to go a little deeper into one of our last videos where we talked about it, but I want to give you ladies specifics on what exactly it takes for that man to step up. So before I get started, for those of you that are new to the channel, I'm Coach B, former lifelong bachelor. My amazing, beautiful wife, former single mom of four, won't be joining us tonight. She's relaxing, enjoying her evening. She's poolside. So I told her to take a break. I'll get it from here. So I want to jump into it for you ladies tonight. Also, make sure you get your questions ready. Want to answer as many questions as we can concerning this topic. Definitely excited to jump into it. So I'll give you ladies 2 points on what triggers a man to step up. Then I'll also give you what doesn't trigger a man to step up, because a lot of times ladies are like, okay, this triggers him, but they don't know exactly what they're doing wrong that's triggering him in a negative way, because either way, the man is going to be triggered when it comes down to really getting him to step up. So I'll go into those points right now. So I'll start all you ladies off with the first point on what triggers a man to step up. And good evening to everyone out there watching this evening. Number one point on what causes a man to step up, or what triggers a man to step up: really knowing how to communicate exactly that this relationship isn't going the direction that you desire, and you're detaching from this situation and you're moving on. And what that looks like, you've been in a relationship with him for a while. It's not that he's a bad person or he's done something specific, but you have your boundaries, you have your love list, you know exactly what your timelines are, and he's not really abiding by it. He's just doing his own thing. He's loving how this relationship is going. It's really no commitment there or anything. So he's enjoying this. But when you come to the man and have a conversation with him in your soft, feminine voice, but you're letting him know, like, things are going, I appreciate you. You're a great person. I wish you the best, but I'm deciding to move on. How that triggers a man, because it'll trigger that man to step up or step back. But know this: when you have that conversation with the man, when you have the conversation letting him know, you don't have time anymore, you're moving on, don't do it unless you're fully committed to it, because there's no guarantee he's coming back. There's no guarantee that that's going to cause him to say he's sorry and want to change. But one thing he knows: when you have that soft feminine conversation with him in that soft voice, is that you've thought about this. This isn't some fly by night. You're emotional. You're not feeling it, so you just need to talk to him. You're not writing him a long message. You're not just leaving a long message on his voicemail. No, you're calm, you're relaxed, you've thought it out. And when we know you've thought it out, that triggers us in such a way, to the point where we're actually, we know without a shadow of a doubt that you're serious about this, and you have to make sure that you are, because if you're not, he's going to test it. He's going to see if okay, is this just a conversation? Does she have a coming to God moment? Did she talk to her pastor? Did she talk to her sister again? Did she get a mentor who's really telling her game? Or has she had a change of heart in how she sees things? But when you have that conversation, it triggers us. And this is a conversation that Coach Tosh and I had as well. When things were going so well, we talked a couple of months. And we were talking globally. We were talking internationally. We met online initially, and we were talking, making plans about me coming to see her. Things didn't work out that way. And for her, she came to me in a calm voice, was like, everything's great. I appreciate you. But right now, this isn't what I'm looking for, in a sense of us not meeting up, us just talking on the phone. I don't care how good those conversations were, us talking on the phone every day and not meeting up, not moving to the next step in this process in our relationship, because we weren't officially together, but just in us getting to know each other, we weren't moving forward. So she made a decision that she was separating from me. And when we had that conversation, for me, because men, this is what my father told me as well: men don't believe poop stinks. Men, in most cases, and like my dad said, he said, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. So subconsciously, that was my approach. Like, okay, you're just talking, I want you to prove it. But as she stood on what she was saying, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that if I were to approach her again, I would have to come from a different perspective. I would have to come to her in a way, not just talking, but with action. Like, okay, I got to show up at her doorstep. I got to make this happen. If I don't, she's cool. And that hurts the heart of someone, of a guy. That hurts our pride when you're cool without us. Like, okay, she cool. She don't need me. She ain't checking on me. She not on my social media. She's not texting me. Even if sometimes the guy tries to text you, you're not texting him back. That hurts the ego. So really standing on having that conversation, but more than anything, following up with that conversation by actions. And those actions let men know she's not playing. She's had enough. We've been going back and forth with this game. I haven't committed to her. She's not someone I'm pursuing for marriage, because guys will give you a title. Guys will, that's my girlfriend. I don't care if they 50 years old. That's my girlfriend. This my lady friend. Whatever, whatever it takes. This good people right here. It's my coworker. They'll call you anything but their fiance or potential wife. And even if they call you that, they'll say it just to make you feel good, but it's got to be the action behind it. So making sure that you stand on what you say and knowing how to have that conversation. Well, you're not looking to hurt him. You're not looking to make him upset. You're not looking to trigger him, but it will trigger him. You're looking to move on and position yourself potentially for your husband to find you, because as long as you're in those casual, situationships, this is just something until I find something. This is better than nothing. At least he's taking care of me. At least he's yada, yada, yada. As long as you stay in those, your husband will never find you. And men aren't attracted to women that are attached, not to move forward in a real relationship with. We've heard so many times when men have dated women that have been attached, and then the woman lets go of their marriage, they let go of their relationship, and he wants no part of her. So men that are willing to date you, if you have a husband or if you have a significant other, they're still willing to date you. Those men will never commit to you because they can't trust you. It sounds diabolical, but that's the reality of it. So you want to make sure, just back to the point, you want to make sure you're able to have those conversations and stand on it. The second point, it's really being clear on what you want. Men are triggered. It can trigger a man when you're not only super clear on what you want, but when you have those boundaries in place, when you're living off that love list, when you're not emotionally, just so emotionally connected to the situation, it's like, no, you're nice looking, you have a great job, you're a provider, but you don't meet the love list. And when you approach it that way as a woman, men men are triggered in a sense, because it's like, okay, how are you turning me down? I'm this and I'm that. I have this, I have that. I can take care of you, whatever the case is. But you're so set and you're so stern on having this love list, because it's not only can he provide. You have to think about lifestyle. You have to think about, is he potentially a good father to your children that you have, or your potential children? Is he a nice person? Is he someone that you trust around your children? All of these things need to be added to your love list. It's not only how does he look, because we understand that that's the masculine way of looking at things. But is he a provider? Okay, does he have money? Is he able to protect me? Okay, those are great. But those are just base. They have to have this even before you consider. But now you have to look at, what type of life do I want? Do I want to marry someone who has a 9 to 5, who's home every night, which is great? But do you want someone home every night? Do you want someone who may make a lot of money, but they're always on the road? They're always traveling. They're working with, or they work with a bunch of women. All of these things you have to consider, because what's going on inside of you, your nervous system, can it handle it? Do you need to do some more inner work? What exactly is going on Because if you're just getting with a guy because, okay, he's able to provide and he's able to protect, then once you get married, you may not even like being around each other, but he's a good guy. So really consider that before just jumping in and saying, this is the guy for me. But what I want to add to it, I told you a couple of things. Of course, the first thing is being able to communicate with him exactly where you are in a way that's feminine and being stern on it. Second is really having those boundaries in place even before you jump into a relationship because it'll trigger him. Any boundaries triggers a man. Just tell a man no. I'm sure it's the same with women as well, but just tell a man no with something that he really desires, or just don't give him something that he really desires, or tell him that, I'm okay. I don't need you for this, or I don't need you. When a man feels like he's not needed, in any type of way, it can be in a positive way or a negative way, then that'll trigger a man. So if you're letting him know, okay, I don't need your money. Okay, I don't need you around the kids. I don't need this. I just need someone, and you don't tell him this, but you need someone who's going to be there for you as a husband. So if he has all the other stuff and you're letting him know that you don't need the little couple of dollars that he gives you, every time he wants to see you, he's not just gonna send it to you cash out. He's gonna come over with the money because he wants to see you. He's gonna ask, can he come in? He's gonna ask, can he hang out? He's gonna ask, can he take you out? He's working his way back. But when you shut him down and let him know that you don't need it, that is going to trigger him. So you really have to understand what you're looking for, have that love list. We talk so much about it in the Feminine Energy Academy, definitely. And this Saturday, actually, before I give you a couple of points about what doesn't trigger him, this Saturday, I'm doing a master class for the ladies, doing some coaching for the ladies. Gonna we got a topic. I'm not going to tell you the topic now. I'll tell you the topic Saturday, but of course, it's for every lady that's in the Feminine Energy Academy only. So right now, it's a free 7-day trial. You can jump in there. You can jump on the Zoom this Saturday. All the ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy, definitely going to be a good time with you ladies. But I want to give you a couple of things that don't trigger a man in the right way, in the way that you're looking to trigger him. Because remember, we're not doing this for manipulation. We're not doing this to get him. Because no matter what you do, you can trigger him and he can start feeling a certain type of way. Again, that does not mean that he's coming back to you. That does not mean that you have him now. But a lot of times, ladies may use these things to try to get men back. Okay, I want to trigger him. I want to get him back on my side. Let me do this. Please don't do this, lady. One thing that's not going to trigger him is sex. I don't care if you got you different with it, or he ain't had nobody like you. Wait till he can't leave this. Whatever quote or saying you come up with, it doesn't matter. Men don't even look at it like that. That's not exciting him because you feel you're the best at this. So maybe I'll just give him some, and then he can't resist me now. Nope. What happens when you do that? Now you just, now you're for the streets. Now you're using this in every situation you look up. You've been with 5, 10, 20 partners, and all of them, you try to get them back with sex. So men will have it. Men will go. I mean, men will do whatever. Men don't care how you look. Men don't care how tall you are, how short you are, how big you are. You won't hear about all the women like who don't look good or whatever the case is, who don't look like what people are used to them looking like, the people that the men mess with. But men will do anything, mess with any woman. And again, for men, a lot of times it's just a body. I don't care if it's a cute body, a big body, a small body, a not so attractive body. It's a body. He's conquered her, and he'll move on. It froze for a second, but the next thing that won't trigger him? A lack of boundaries. When I say a lack of boundaries, what I mean is you're always saying yes. You don't stand on nothing. He's asking you, it's 10 o'clock at night. He's asking you, can he come over? You're saying yes because you're trying to work this thing out. You want him to know that you like him, that you're attracted to him. So you're telling him yes. Anything he asks you, you're telling him yes. He's calling you at 11:30 at night. You're half asleep. You got to get up at 5 a.m. to go to work, but you answer that phone half asleep, acting like you woke. He called you. It's like, hello, and he's like, you there? Yeah. What's going on? You're like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm up. I'm woke, and you're tired. But it's a lack of boundary because you think that every time he calls that you have to answer. You think every time he wants something, you have to say okay, because if you don't, you'll lose him. So really having those boundaries in place is so key. But when you allow him to break boundaries, now again, he's looking at it like, okay, she probably can't be trusted. She's someone that, someone says something and she's gonna go. If they say it the right way, if she's out at work with some guys and somebody says something, she's gonna have a hard time saying no. This is what men are thinking. You're thinking, he really knows that I like him. He's thinking, oh, she doesn't know how to say no. She doesn't have any boundaries. So I can't trust her. I can spend time with her. I can be around her. I can invite her over to the house, but I can't marry her. She's not wife material. And these thoughts, men are always, if we know it or not, it could be subconscious in a lot of situations, but men are always throwing these tests out there just to see how you'll respond. We're not testing you in a sense of, okay, I like her, let me test her. No, we're saying these things because these are actual situations that happen in life with other men, especially if you're someone that people look at as attractive, if you're someone who gets a lot of attention. Before men move forward with you, and ladies, listen up, and because I know that's a lot of the ladies that are listening in, before they move forward with you, they've got to make sure. They've got to make sure that you're not for the streets, that you're someone that's a wife. And it's either one or the other. Men aren't saying, okay, she's a wife. Okay, she like hanging out, but she ain't in the streets. And okay, she for the streets. And no, it's not all those categories. It's either wife or for the streets. That's it. Men are black and white. Men look at things like that in a sense of, can I be with this person? And if you're having your hot girl summers, if you're going on girls trips all the time, if you're posting pictures with your butt out, posting pictures with your front out, and posting pictures hugging up on these different guys, men will make a decision at that point like, nope, can't be trusted. I'm gonna stay away from her. Healthy masculine energy men that are looking for wives make that decision. Now there are men out there who see that, and they're like, oh, that's not a problem. But healthy masculine energy men understand that someone who, and I'm speaking for myself as well, someone who has no boundaries in place isn't someone that you want to be with. So you really have to know that. And one more thing that, what did I say? One more thing that won't trigger a man is conversations. It's just normal, just having a conversation, trying to convince him that things are good, or having a conversation like, you know what, it's not like you saying, I know you're seeing this, but you know, no, it's really something different. Conversations mean nothing. Once we see something as men, we're going with that. Even though my father said, don't believe nothing you hear and half what you see. When it comes to relationships and men see something, a lot of times it's no going back because our nervous system can't handle it. Our pride can't handle it. Most of us can't go back into a situation after we feel like we've been, disrespected, after we feel like people have seen this. Now it's like, you know what? I'm good. I can't move on in a relationship. So the conversation after the fact means nothing in most situations. You're not going to convince a man to do anything off just conversation. It all goes with the action. The action is what it's about. So just as a recap, A couple of things that how to trigger a man in a healthy way. We're going to go over the healthy way first. And I have to look at my notes because I've been talking a lot. Tasha isn't with me. She's relaxing tonight. She's usually able to bring up stuff that I forget, but going over my notes. It is understanding how to communicate with him when you're detaching. Understand how to have the conversations, understand how to be in your soft feminine energy. That'll trigger men quicker than cursing them out. Cursing them out will trigger them in a negative way. But when you're soft, when you're relaxed, and when you're just like, it's okay. I'm moving on. It's like a burning feeling comes inside of us. And for men that aren't healthy, they can respond another way. But healthy masculine energy men, they'll be upset. They'll respect your decision. I respect it. It's cool. I respect it. But if we're really into you, it's going to hurt us. So so you have to I want to make sure. I know some people said sound issues. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? I just want to make sure because I haven't been looking on it. I know I have my mic on, I have it locked in. Can you hear me? I see a couple of questions as well. So, Angelo, can you hear me? Just give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes, I can hear you. Must click back on here. Oh, okay. You all can hear me. Great, great, great. So, yeah, so that was the first point. Second one is being clear with your boundaries. And when I say being clear with your boundaries, not in word, but in action. It's breaking up a little. So good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But being clear with your action, not just in word. And then a way that you're not going to trigger a healthy masculine energy man to be with you. And I call this manipulation as well. A way you're not going to trigger him is number one, giving him sex. I know a lot of times women are like, okay, I'm not going to do it until we're married, engaged, whatever the case is. And you're holding out. And he's okay with it initially. Then he's putting pressure on you. Now you're like, well, okay, let's do it. And what it's going to do is going to have the opposite effect. It's not going to allow him to really want to come close to you. Now he's got you. So it's nothing else to chase. The chase is over. He's caught the rabbit. He's in this case, he's caught something else. He's caught the rabbit, so he's going to stop chasing you. So sex is not going to trigger him to want to be with you. Lack of boundaries is not going to trigger him to want to be with you. Neither are conversations, just trying to talk it out. No, it's about the action with men. I'm so glad we can hear me. Now, I want to get to your questions. So, Adora support, if you can pin any of the questions that I missed from up top, I'm not able to scroll. I'm actually using my phone, so I don't have a phone to look at. But there were a few questions that I wanted to get to. Definitely make sure you get your questions. Your questions can be about anything. But let's get some questions in so we can have a conversation. First question I wanted to get to says, how do you let them know? What do you tell him about rotational dating? So what do you tell a man when you're rotationally dating? The thing is, when you're rotationally dating, you want to make sure first off you make that decision. Men have rosters. Men don't rotationally date. Men have rosters. So the fact that men have rosters, we understand if you're single, you're not you're not sitting around for the most part. But you don't have to go and have a conversation with them. You just met them. You're on your first date. You're like, okay, I'm only dating for marriage. I'm rotationally dating. If you're not with it, then we just can't be together. No, just if he asks you, let him know I'm dating for marriage. And I'm getting to know you. So I'm excited about getting to know you. I'm enjoying getting to know you. But don't go telling him about rotational dating. Okay, I'm rotational dating. Right now, I have about 3 or 4 guys that I'm rotationally dating. First thing that goes into a man's mind, she having sex with all of them. She's sleeping with all these dudes. We don't hear rotationally dating. We hear, okay, dude hitting, she messing with him, and I don't want to be with you because what happens is those men get triggered. They get so triggered where it's like, Well, what you mean you rotationally dating? You talking to all these men, you sleeping with these men? And at that point, now the entire direction of getting to know each other has taken a detour. So stay away from telling him what you're doing with your life in that way because he hasn't earned it. You don't even know his last name. You don't know where he lives. You don't know his license plate number. You don't know much about him at all. But you're going off telling him you're rotationally dating. Leave that out of it. Just if he asks, let him know that you're dating for marriage. What does that look like? Well, those conversations can be had, but you don't go telling men too much because what happens is men will ask questions, and it's definitely okay when we ask questions. I'm telling you from a man who was a former bachelor for 35 years that men will ask questions, but when you give them all the answers, now they just become that man that you want. You tell them, well, I'm looking for someone who's really family oriented, goes to church, volunteers at the local shelter. You know, he fixes cars. He's a handyman. You tell him that if you want to. And guess what he becomes? He becomes a deacon at the local church. He becomes a mechanic. He becomes everything that you said. He volunteers at the Salvation Army. He does everything that you just mentioned. You won't even get to know who the true person is in most cases because they just put that whole list down of what you were looking for. And if they like you, and this is healthy and unhealthy, I mean, most healthy masculine energy men, who are really looking to have an honest relationship, won't go in that direction. Who they are is who they are. Like, okay, well, I don't do that. I work from home. I do this. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But you'll get a lot of guys who become that. And now you're looking like, man, I found a diamond in the rough. I don't know where this guy was at, but I found the perfect guy. The perfect guy found you. This is what you're thinking in your mind. Like, how did this happen? Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. I love you. Thank you for sending him. Thank you for allowing him to see me. But then you really get to know him like, oh, he's none of that. But you told him everything. You gave him the answers to the test. He became it. So don't overshare. When you're rotationally dating, don't overshare about rotationally dating and don't overshare about your life. Just make sure you have fun in the fun getting to know each other. Just talking about fun things, do fun things, let him talk, ask him questions, or a lot of times just allow those questions to happen organically during the course of conversations because I don't want you ladies just whipping out a sheet of paper, a nice little scroll, and just going down your list of questions like, okay, I got 30 questions. You got to get 29 of them right. No, just have a conversation, have fun, enjoy each other, have a coffee date, do something light and fun and just get to know them. That's it. So that's the answer on the rotational dating. So, ladies, let me know if you've had those thoughts as well when rotationally dating, especially the ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy and the ladies who've listened to a lot of our YouTube. It's like, okay, I've listened, I've started rotationally dating. Any challenges you're having rotationally dating, definitely just put the question down and I'll get to them as well. Let me see. Okay, I'll answer one of the questions that we have from Ellis. Ellis says, there's a guy flirting with me. I catch him complimenting other girls exactly with some words. What do what to do now? So there's a guy flirting with you. You catch him complimenting other girls with the same words, with exactly the same words. What do you do now? Well, the short answer to that is you do nothing. I mean, he has approached you. I'm guessing he's single. You're single. If he wants to get to know you, if he's serious about getting to know you, then, he would approach you. He would go about it the right way. But if he's flirting with all these girls, he's telling everybody the same thing. Good morning, beautiful, and man, you look so good today. Whatever he's telling you all, the same thing, and you know it, he's just hey, he's just doing his thing. He has no reason not to because everybody's receiving it. So for you, and unless you're dating him, don't even concern yourself with it. Make sure you just continue to have your boundaries in place, your love list. Does your love list include someone who's flirting with everyone and telling them all the same thing? If it doesn't, then don't worry about it. You're not together. He owes you nothing. He's not committed to you. He hasn't even asked you out based on what I'm seeing right here. So my thing would be just you have to detach from that because he said something to make you feel good. And he might be a charmer, charismatic, nice smile, dresses nice, smells good, whatever it is. He knows how to play that. But you have to distance yourself from that because who he is now is who he's going to continue to be. And you don't want to even get involved with someone like that, someone who's just making all the women feel good. Because what that does as well is it doesn't allow you to know even if he's attached to someone. He's just flirting with everybody. He talks to all the women the same. He smiles at all the women. So he could be married with kids or he can be single as who knows what. But you won't know because everybody gets the same treatment. And that's not the type of guy you want to be around if you're serious about dating for marriage. So my suggestion, do nothing at all with that situation and continue to get your healing, do your healing, continue to position yourself, deal with your nervous system, whatever you have to do. Position yourself to be ready when that guy comes, right? He's in everybody's face. Come on. We know how it works. We all saw those people and, at work. We saw them in school. We know them in the neighborhood. They're just in everybody's face. And, everybody loves them. They hugging everybody. You know, they, they just have access to everybody. Everybody wants to be around them. But that's not the person who you want to even move forward and get to know at that time. Now, people change, but you're not waiting for that. So, another question we have, this is a good question as well. How do you date globally? You're welcome for that as well, Alex. How do you date globally? Well, dating globally has become it's become the norm now. Maybe back 10, maybe as little as 10, 15 years ago, it was taboo to date online. It was taboo to not date people that you just saw. Like, I remember even I'm dating myself, but I remember back in the time when it was taboo for stuff like, you have those call-in numbers where people are just dating lines. Thankfully, I never used those, but dating lines were taboo. Now dating online became taboo, but now it's so normal, especially after the pandemic, when everyone just started talking, everyone, was doing everything online. So now you have access to the world. It's over 8 billion people in the world. So if you have a computer, then you can date globally. Now, which site do you use? Which one's the best? Who knows? But it's all about you doing the work before you get on there because you can get on the best site. But if you're not ready, if your nervous system's not ready, if you haven't dealt with those trauma wounds or childhood wounds where if somebody says this to me, okay, they don't like me, whatever the case is, if you haven't dealt with that, then you're not ready to date, period. But dating globally has become so easy, just getting online. People work with people across overseas. I met my wife who was in Canada. We met online. We talked online. And it's a process that you go through when you're doing it online. We talked online, then we met. The first thing you want to do, and this is for everyone, first thing you want to do is confirm that this is a real person. Confirm that you're not talking to a bot or a scammer, someone who's looking to get something out of you. So maybe after a couple of back and forth, and maybe if you exchange numbers, and I suggest that you get some type of Google number. Get a free number, second number that's only for if you're dating online, because men are going to want to see you. Men are going to want to talk. But the first thing that you do after you have a couple conversations is get a FaceTime in. You have to see this person. I've known many situations where people have talked for months. People have made plans. Then next thing you know, it's like, okay, well, something happened at work, something happened with the family. Never met. Come to find out this wasn't a real person. So you have to be able to identify them as a real person. But dating globally is the same as dating in person. Once you identify this as a real person, having conversation, setting up times to meet, getting to know each other. It cannot be, and I repeat, it cannot be a texting conversation. It cannot be a telephone conversation. It has to move to the point of seeing each other in person after the FaceTime. And if they're too far away or if they don't have the money to come see you, then it won't work. I don't care how nice a person it is. I don't want you ladies paying for them to come see you or anything like that. If they're not able to come see you or pay for you to come see them, then you want to stay away from them because trust me, men will drag it out for months and months and months. And they'll say all the right things. And the difference is for men, we're moved by how you look, right? We're moved by how good you look. We'll want to get to know you. Women fall in love with men the more they talk to them, the more they're around them, the more they're able to put that soft voice on, tell you what you want to hear, talking 3 or 4 hours on the phone. Man, I feel like I've been knowing you forever. Has anybody ever talked on the phone with somebody they never met and said, I feel like I know you forever? Raise your hand in here, please. I want to see some hands raised. If you said that at any point, then the conversation it's gone on too long. It's gone on too long without him coming to meet you in person. So dating globally is all about first identifying that this is a real person. That's first. Secondly, is making sure you have concrete dates and times where he's coming at you, where he's saying, I want to see you, within the next 30 days. I want to come see you, showing that he has his ticket or sending for you. And when he sends for you, ladies, it's okay if he sends for you. A couple of things to note. Don't stay with him, and then don't allow him to have access to your room. Like he may put it down, okay, he's the one who paid for it. So, they're going to give him a key if he comes there. No, make sure you put everything in your name when you go see him. And also make sure you let people know. I know sometimes that can be challenging because you're going to a new country. Maybe sometimes you're embarrassed, whatever the case. No, make sure you let people that you trust know. And if you have someone in that city that you know, or in that country that you know, make sure you have access to them and let them know what's going on. It's about safety when you're dating globally, but first it's about identifying, is this a real person? And trust me, it sounds funny, but it's true. And I'm sure, I don't want to call anybody out or anything like that, but I'm sure some of you ladies and probably even some of you guys have gotten catfished, have been in situations where it's like, I didn't think they would get me. Not that they got you for money, but just got you for your time. You don't want to waste time talking to people that aren't real or people that are scammers. So that's how you date globally. So hopefully that answers your question. So Virgo tease says, how do you express interest in a man without pursuing them? So good. I know Tosh talks about this all the time. Being able to drop the handkerchief. That's what we call it. You have to be able to drop the handkerchief. And if we think about dropping the handkerchief practically, okay, you're dropping it, he's picking it up, he's noticing you. Now he's bringing it back over to you. Now a conversation starts. But all you have to do with men is being in the right environment. So if you're let's say you're at work, if you're just at work and you see someone that you might think is, someone who potentially can be, a person that you see yourself with, it's okay to look at them because you're looking at them and you want to connect eyes just for about a half a second, maybe a second. You don't want to catch eyes for 2 seconds. That's too long. If you're looking at each other for 2 seconds, then other stuff is going on. Like, what's she on? Like, is she cool? But just catch his eye half a second. That's a sign right there to let him know that, okay, let me go over and holler at her. Let me go see what's to it with her. And it's other ways you can do it as well. It's just you're in an environment, you may be in a group of people, everybody's talking, just having conversation and just talking back and forth with that person. Just, okay, I'm going to make sure that I'm tuned into this person. But you don't want to go over to them and say, I think you're cute. How you doing, handsome? I just had to say something to you. I know you get a whole bunch of girls that come over to you and say this to you, but I just couldn't hold myself back. You do that, then he'll be over your house or you'll be over his house. You'll do whatever you have to do, and that'll be the end of it because he knows that you want him. So you have to do it in a way that's subtle, but also in a way, that he knows that you're, that there's some interest there. But we call it dropping the handkerchief and figuring out what way can you, in a normal, if you work with him or if you go to the gym with him, things like that. You can maybe, just be struggling with your weights or something while he's over there, or work out in the same area, but figuring out how to drop the handkerchief without approaching him and letting him know how much you feel in him. Okay. So hopefully that helped answer it. It was a few other questions in here that I wanted to get to. So many good questions in here as well. Let me see. Okay, here we go. We have Dever says, uh, well, I don't know if that was a question. Okay, here we go. Is college even worth it? I don't think I want to talk about college. Do what you love. So, are you saying she should ignore him? This is from Motivated Woman saying she should ignore him. And thinking back to the triggering topics, which I believe she was talking about as far as ignoring him. Now, detaching and ignoring are two different things. Ignoring is done where it's like, okay, I just don't want to be around him. You can still be thinking about somebody all the time and ignore them, right? It's like, okay, I'm thinking about him. I wonder what he's doing. He's calling. I'm just going to ignore it. Detaching means not concerning yourself with that person. If you have to throw away that hoodie that he had, or if you have to throw away that T-shirt that you still have at the house, you have to get rid of pictures. Detaching means totally separating yourself from that person, not waiting on things to work out. You've gotten to the point now where you're detaching, like I'm moved on. You've essentially moved on with your life. You've moved on, and not that you wouldn't consider if he came back, but you're not thinking about him. You're not thinking about, is this guy coming back? No, you're detached. You've gone silent. That's different than ignoring. Again, ignoring, you can be thinking about that person all the time and just, push end. Detaching, when they won't even have your number. You'll probably get rid of their number. Not that you necessarily have to block them, but you'll get rid of their number. You'll look when someone's calls and you'll say, who is this? What number is this? I don't know this number. Because we don't remember any phone numbers anyway. But you won't even know who it is when they reach out to you because you're so detached. So detaching deals with a lot of inner work too, because you have to re-regulate yourself behind being with the person. If you've been connected with this person, if you've had relations with this person, if you've been with them for a couple of years, ignoring them won't be enough, because ignoring is willpower. It's like, okay, I won't, nope, won't answer it. Nope, I won't look. That's willpower. And willpower isn't enough. You're going to fall weak. You're going to fall victim because he's going to do something or say something where that willpower, he just overtakes it. But detaching in a healthy way, you won't be thinking about him. You won't even know his phone number when he calls. So definitely those two are different. You don't want to ignore, you want to detach. And you also said, I detach from him, but I still stay in contact with him, with his kids. Is that okay? I really like him, but he decided a little bit, but he detached a little bit first, but not all the way. So if you're detached from him, but you're still in contact with his kids, you're not detached from him. That's the reality. A lot of times we do that because that's our way to still feel connected, but we know that we shouldn't be worried about this person, but have a good relationship with the kids. He and his mom is like my mom. No man that wants to be with you is going to want to be with someone who's still attached to his kids. You're like, okay, I'm attached to his kids. I'm just going over there to see his kids. I don't care about him. A healthy masculine energy man is going to tell you to go by yourself. He's going to tell you, I don't want any parts of that. If you still are holding on to anything, like I said, it can be a hoodie, it can be a T-shirt, it can be holding on to the relationship with the kids. And then the fact that you actually said that you still like him, You have to fully detach, or else you're going to play in that space of, a situationship. Because whenever he's ready to get back with you, if you haven't fully detached and you're just ignoring him, whenever he's fully ready, he says the right things like, baby, I'm sorry. I'm ready this time. I've done counseling. I understand the areas that I failed in. I'm ready to go all in the right way. He tells you that. He doesn't have to show you anything. You're not detached. You've tried to ignore him. He said everything you've been waiting on him to say. You're wondering like, why didn't you say this, 6 months ago? But he said it now, and you're all in. You're like, okay, I want to give him a chance, and he repeats the same thing. So fully detached, leave his kids out of it, unless you have kids together. If you have kids together, then you have to, figure out how to co-parent. But if you don't have any kids together, you have to fully detach from him, because something's going to happen where he's going to tell you what you want to hear, then you're going to be right back in the same situation. And even that brings up the point about this Saturday. I'm doing a masterclass for all the ladies, doing a coaching session, topic to be confirmed. Later, I'll tell you ladies the topic Saturday on the call. But it's for all the ladies that's in the Feminine Energy Academy. Jump in right now. We have a free 7-day trial. The link is below. Jump into the Feminine Energy Academy. Not only do you get that, but you get my wife, Tosh, all the audios, all the Dating for Marriage audios, all of the nervous system re-regulation audios, plus the community of over 400 women that just talk to each other and that are able to help each other through the situations. But we're answering every question in the Feminine Energy Academy as well. That's our social media platform where we just sit in there and talk to each other and help the ladies out. We help coach the ladies. We have master calls every Saturday. This Saturday is the master call for the ladies. Ask Coach B. So definitely want to jump in and join that. I'm going to answer a couple of more questions. You ladies have such good questions tonight. Definitely want to make sure I answer those for you. How do I detach completely in a long distance move on? So if you're in a long distance relationship and you're looking to move on, fully detach. Now, that part, depends on how long you've been together. Of course, you always have to factor in emotions. That's why we always talking about the nervous system re-regulation. But if you're long distance and you want to move on from that relationship, well, first it's about, you really making that decision. Once you make the decision, they're long distance. So it's not like, you have to see this person, but you want to have a conversation first within yourself and say, okay, I'm moving on. This is what I've decided to do. Understand, he's going to throw the kitchen sink at you. He's going to throw everything at you. He's going to, put his best foot forward once you make that decision and once you have that conversation. But you have to stand on your boundaries when you're breaking things up, when you're detaching and you're going silent, long distance. You have to stand on those boundaries because he understands what the things that you like. He understands how to get to you, but you have to say, okay, these are your boundaries. You know, if he tries to break those boundaries, you have to hold firm with that. You have to detach, not only detach, but go silent. That's the big part of it as well. It's one thing to detach, get rid of everything. You might delete his number, whatever it takes, to just detach yourself from him. But you have to go silent, meaning if he reaches out, you can't have casual conversations like that. He can't turn into your best friend. Like, okay, we're just going to be friends now. It didn't work out. No, men don't have best friends as women. The only best friends they have should be their wife, or the only friends they have for that are women, and I mean real friends, are women that at some point in your weak point, they're looking to get with you. Men have, in a sense, men have no reason to be friends with women. It's not like, we do things together, we have so much in common. No, we're opposite beings in so many different ways. So men are usually friends, and this is just a side note for y'all. Men are usually friends with women they're attracted to. Rarely do you see a man as a friend with someone he's not attracted to. He's not going to spend time with her. He's not going to do stuff for her or with her. But men will do stuff for and with women they're attracted to and just call it a friendship. But as soon As soon as you call them and say, "Okay, man, I just need some company." Oh, he hopping up and he over. So you have to fully detach, go silent, don't hold on to a friendship with him, but move on from him. And of course, I came back with Coach Tosh, and we ended up working. And I came to her and I said, "I want to be with you. I'll move countries." That happens, but that's not the norm. So don't sit and wait for that. Move completely on and allow yourself to be seen for your future husband. Ah, let me see what Alyssa says. If we don't attach easily, it's easy to detach. Women actually attach emotionally quite quickly. That's the problem. We should be more picky, I guess. And that's the thing. Women do get it. Like I said earlier, women get attached by the conversation, by being around the man. And that's why it's so important to have your boundaries in place and your love list. Because if he's not meeting your love list, you're not even taking time out to get to know him. A lot of times, what happens is you're just casually getting to know people. Okay, he seems nice, but does he meet your love list? You don't even have a love list, so you don't even know what he needs to meet. So you're just getting to know random people. And during the process of getting to know them, you're saying this person isn't the type of person I want to be with. But guess what? Now it's 6 months later. Now you're attached to him. Now you love being around him. You love certain things about him. So it's that much harder to detach from him. So that's why we always say at the beginning, look at your love list, see if he matches. If he doesn't, don't waste time with him because that'll turn into a situationship because your emotions will get involved. You might start doing things, you might start having relations with each other, and now it's that much harder to detach from him. So have that love list ready at the beginning, and trust me, if you follow that step, you'll save yourself from so much heartache, from so much healing that needs to be done because you're not spending and wasting time with that person. Uh, do you speak about attachment styles? Does it play into how a relationship turns out? And we speak about attachment styles in the Feminine Energy Academy, the anxious attachment style, and I forgot the other attachment style. But we speak about those. I know Coach Tosh has so many audios in there about different attachment styles. We actually have an attachment style survey, I believe, or quiz, an attachment style quiz that you can take in the Feminine Energy Academy because attachment styles do matter. You have the avoidant attachment style and the anxious attachment style, and they do matter as far as when you're considering people to be with. First off, if they have unhealthy attachment styles, then it's probably not someone you want to move forward with. But attachment styles matter. We have the quiz in the Feminine Energy Academy. The link is below. Right now, it's a free 7 day trial where you get access to the quiz. You get access to everything in the Feminine Energy Academy. So jump in, take the quiz. And when you take the quiz, we'll get the responses, we'll get the answers. We can discuss those answers as well. But when you jump in, you'll get a message from Coach Tosh. She'll send you a message just asking you exactly what you're coming in for, what areas do you want to work on. Then she'll follow up with that email, with that first message, and give you different audios, kind of walk you through exactly where you should start and what you should listen to. So definitely jump in so you can get that attachment style quiz as well. That's something that Coach Tosh put together herself. Of course, she has the background. She's a hormone expert as well as being a former RN. So all of this is right up her alley. So people give too much information online dating. And I'll answer a couple more questions. That's more of a statement. But we walk you through in the Feminine Energy Academy. You send us your profile. We go through it. We go through your pictures. We go through exactly what you write down, and kind of help you from a masculine energy perspective and my wife's feminine energy perspective to let you know, okay, this is what men are looking for, but this is how you say this as a feminine woman. So definitely sometimes, we can go on these online posts, and men aren't looking at all that. Men look at specific things. We're not reading, this long syllabus or, whatever it is. We're not reading this short story and saying, okay, she's such a great person. No, you may be a great person. We're looking at the picture, we're reading and looking for a couple of things in there, then we make a decision. So we walk you through that entire process if you have an online profile and you want us to check it out. Because remember, this is exactly how we met. We met online after we initially started dating. 8 months after we started dating, we got engaged. 3 months after that, we got married. Now, at the beginning, when we initially started dating for marriage, that's when I had the conversation when Coach Tosh about wanting to marry her, wanting to be with her. And that was something she had her love list, she had her boundaries, but that was something that, okay, you're serious about it, but now let me see the actions. So each step of our relationship, it wasn't just me saying it, it was me showing it and proving it. So we walk you through entire process of how to go from starting online dating to getting married, to getting engaged. Within the Feminine Energy Academy, we have this year, every month we've had someone get engaged and or married every month this year. So that just shows you these ladies are not only learning, but they're using what they're learning and they're attracting these healthy masculine energy men. So again, jump into the Feminine Energy Academy. Let me see. Every question that I didn't get to, if I didn't get to your question, jump into the Feminine Energy Academy. You can ask me a question, private message me. I'll get back to you regarding that. Definitely looking forward to seeing you all this Saturday on the masterclass, Ask Coach B masterclass, where I'll be helping to coach you ladies. Again, the topic will be revealed this Saturday. I'll let you know what we're talking about. But definitely appreciate you jumping on this evening. Love you guys. See you soon.